Welcome to the Simply Counselling Couch.
Ready?
No pressure at all.
I've never been more ready in my life.
That's perfect opening.
Hi, ladies.
Got us.
Yes, I did. Welcome back. This is so weird to be sitting here after all this time. And I was thinking about it this morning. What was the last time that we recorded? Was it 2020? I think it was 22 or 2? I think it was 22.
Maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Or 2023.
Wow, that long?
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
I don't even know how much. Yes. To know that it's been that many years since the last time that we were doing it.
Yeah.
And on that note, yes, there's been some changes. Yes. Since everybody would have seen us last. So one of them is that we have rebranded and we are now Simply Counselling Couch. Yes. So that's an exciting change. Jenna, do you want to say something about how we arrived on that, how we came to that idea to do the rebranding?
Well, I think like the evolution of Simply Jenna kind of morphed over the couple years that we had done it. And I think it just became more about having a conversation and sharing stories and we didn't really plan for that in the beginning. So I think the Simply Counseling Couch reflects more of what we want going forward, which is to have these conversations together and to share stories. And what better place to do it than on the couch? Right?
I love that.
Yeah.
And hopefully it sets off more of a, welcoming, inviting kind of atmosphere for people to join us.
Yes.
On the couch.
Yes.
Right? So I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this change.
Yes.
The other thing that's changed is that we've got a wonderful, new, young, fresh, addition to our crew. And we're so excited to have you here with us, Amber.
Thank you.
Yes.
Excited to be here.
Good.
Yes. That's really good to hear.
Yes.
Really hopeful for that.
So do you want to say a little bit about yourself and maybe introduce yourself to the world?
Yes.
To the world. Yes.
That is so like
I know daunting.
Yes. I was like, you're welcome.
Welcome.
So I am Amber. I am the office manager here. I think I've been here for around 5 or 6 years now.
Got
I think
longer than that.
I think it's 6 because we hired you right before the pandemic hit.
And I remember the old office manager, Cheryl.
Yeah.
She would text me throughout COVID.
Yes.
And she was like, we still want you. Please start finding jobs. And I'm like, well, I can't. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And now I've taken over as an office manager. I'm also finishing up school so I can eventually join you guys as psychologists. So that's exciting. I'm also in the midst of planning my wedding. So it's a very long and draining process. But
Can't imagine.
just got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty
And when is the wedding?
October 2nd.
God.
So
up the months. Yes.
it'll be good. Good, exciting, a lot of work. But
And I feel like you've been in the planning process for a little bit now.
yeah, so well, we got engaged 2 years ago, and I told my fiance, I'm like, I want a longer engagement because I wanted time to plan it, whatever. But then here we are, like 2 months before, just scrambling to get everything done. I feel like that usually happens.
Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing what a process it is.
Mhm.
And I think it's something that you don't really know until you start the conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Like even after you get engaged, it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Now we have to actually plan something and pull together to bring people together.
Yeah.
And especially nowadays, I know we were chatting kind of off camera before about how much that has changed like the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wedding.
Yes.
And how like big the wedding industry has gotten and how everybody wants like elaborate things, elaborate weddings. Like it's a lot.
Yes.
But it'll be worth it.
Yes.
It will be worth it.
Yes.
I'm just trying to get through.
Yes, exactly.
Just enough.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we wanted to say was just about what would be staying the same
Yeah.
as we go forward, because we wanted to, there's pieces of what we had from before that we wanted to make sure still carries on as we embark on this podcast journey once again.
Yeah.
And so some of the pieces that still staying the same is this part around having conversations and hearing people's stories. And that's always been, I think, what has driven us to do this. So that part will stay the same. Anything else that we want to mention that's still going to stay the same?
I think like obviously the continued focus on advocating for mental health and removing the stigma of mental health, right? By sharing the stories. And I think like always gonna have like little tips and tricks and things to consider. So I think that those are hopefully gonna stay around. Right?
Yes. Yeah. And something that you said before was we will still be ourselves.
Yes.
That's not going to change.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not.
Apologies in advance.
Yes. Yes.
But we have Amber here to add to that now too.
Yes.
So that's going to be amazing. And she will continue to be herself. So
Yes.
that's of course. Fantastic addition.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, ladies. Shall we get into this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Should we start by talking about what our views on social media are?
Yes, that's a big topic.
Yes.
And let's maybe dive into like why, like how does this relate to the podcast?
Yeah, and I think that's a great point because it's something that the topic of social media I think has come up a lot in the counseling room. But then it's also come up, I think, from a perspective of the business.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's been this piece, I think, that we've talked about. How do we navigate social media? And I think I can maybe speak for both of us when I say this, that Jenna and I are a little bit old school.
Old school.
Old school to come from a bit of a different generation. So I think we both had different views on social media compared to what's maybe out there now.
Yeah.
So it's just been this thing that's been there. How do we navigate social media within the counseling room, like having those conversations? And then how do we navigate social media from the business perspective as well?
Yeah.
So do we want to add to that piece?
No, I think that I want to say it's like the elephant in the room for us, right? That it's always been like, okay, so how do we navigate this? How do we include it in what we want to achieve at Simply Counseling Services, and then also as a piece of this podcast, right? And so so I think we are we'll say traditional. Put it instead of old school, maybe we're traditional.
That's a better word. Yes.
And I think like I want to say like shamelessly resistant to change when it comes to that. We are just having such a hard time wrapping our heads around it as a whole and figuring out how do we want it to play a role in what we do, and if we want it to play a role in what we do.
And I think like that's the maybe the, I want to say conflict or the tension that we've been trying to figure out is how do you sort of fit with what is happening in the world around people using social media, but then still honor that part of what feels authentic and true to you. And so I feel like when we were having these conversations about social media, because we have you around and with your useful views, and you bringing your brilliant ideas to us of how we can participate in social media, and you've experienced the resistance, yes, traditional ways. But this piece is something that we felt was a good fit for us.
And so trying to figure out a way to um, show who we are with being authentic to us, because we see social media as a way of people maybe trying to show who they are.
Yes. Yep.
And for us, we wanted to make sure that we were continuing to be authentic. So, um, so just trying to find what the balance was between social media and who we are.
Yeah.
What has made you guys bring the podcast?
That's a really good question.
We're wondering the same. Podcasts have changed in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So drastic,
Yes.
right? And yeah, there's like video components now. Like there were back then, but now every podcast has a video.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how does that make you guys feel? And being behind the camera,
Oh.
getting into that line.
Okay, well, there's the honest answer.
Yes.
Yes. Then there's the answer that we're probably supposed to say. So being authentic and being honest and transparent. It feels really odd, I think, to be back in this way. Like we do have old versions of the podcast of us when we were first recording. And that's back in, but I think that was a reflection of where things were at with the state of the world too, though, right? Because it was born out of COVID.
Yeah.
Jenna and I being stuck.
Yes.
Decided to start a podcast. So there was that like the old school kind of videoing, and we kind of had that incorporated, but not to the same extent what you're talking about today. So it does feel odd to have that be such a central part now. But we are trying to embrace it, I would say, and trying to still find that way that we can be authentic. But to answer your question about why we're back, one of the biggest reasons is that people have actually been asking about it.
Yeah.
Especially clients that we have. They come into the room and they ask, like, whatever happened to the podcast? Why did you guys let it go? Are you going to come back? So it was well received, and that was one of the reasons why we decided to bring it back.
Yeah.
And selfishly, I love doing it. Like I love the conversations that we've had.
Yes.
And I think and the people that we've met and the stories that we've heard, it's been so enjoyable to do it, right? And I think that bringing it back, it makes sense, right? And I think we have an opportunity to share stories and have conversations, and I think it just gives more context to who we are than maybe what social media can do, right?
Like the quick little 30-second whatever clips that people are doing.
Yes. Whatever it is that the people
The
do.
real.
Yeah.
This is when everybody's going to realize how little I know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I can't even speak to it. My clients know that too, though. But yes,
Oh, perfect. So maybe we should start by defining what we think social media is.
Yes, and that's a really good point, because this is something that was sitting with me as we were prepping for this, of like, how do we even talk about social media? What are we referencing? And that, again, from a selfish perspective, because I'm not on a lot of social media platforms, I don't even really know what it all encompasses.
Yeah.
So I think when we're talking about it, we're talking mostly about like maybe the apps or places where people are messaging with one another. They're posting videos and posting videos, photos, videos. I don't know how else to capture social media. What else could we include in that? Because I don't know the full realm of what exists.
Yeah, like I think like I want to say anything outside of like text messaging or calling, right? Like ways to connect through phones or devices, right? That people are using now, right? Because I think like anything whatever you're using your phone for outside of calling or texting, right, is a reflection of what I think social media is, right?
So would you have anything to add to that,
Yeah.
or what could be included in that definition from your perspective?
I think you guys have encompassed it pretty well. I think social media now too are like the apps like TikTok, Instagram. And I feel like, especially with apps like TikTok, and I feel like Instagram now too, I feel like it's more so people just posting about themselves. And I feel like when defining social media, like
it started off really as a way for people to connect. And I feel like we kind of slowly pushed away from that. Because I think even when Facebook started, it was a way to connect with people. But yeah, I think with how today's day and age uses it, it's like keeping up the Joneses. Like, yes, seeing what people are up to, kind of keeping tabs on people without actually talking to them. So there's a big disconnect there.
Yeah. And maybe that's a great segue for us to talk about what we think about is maybe the um, not good pieces of social media, right? And how it has changed over the years. And I think that maybe we have a different perspective too, sitting in the counseling room, and hearing from clients about the struggles with social media and how it can sometimes become an addiction or addiction like behaviors it can produce. So there's a lot of, I think, challenges with social media nowadays. Yeah. Yeah. I think that when we talk about like why maybe we are resistant to joining the masses and representing ourselves through that is that we do see the issues that it causes in people's lives. And I think, as time has gone on, because much like anything in society and as society progresses, we do things because they're new and we try to figure out like whether this is a good thing, whether this is a bad thing. And I think like I've been waiting like over these years to see if there's going to be a shift that it's going to be, something that is good and like has enhanced people's lives and made people's lives better. But I haven't seen any of that yet, right? I think like the instances of it changing people's lives for the better is I want to say small, right? Like I understand that people have built businesses through social media and people have made money and all of this kind of stuff. But I think that there still is a very big cost to that. Mentally, emotionally, and also physically, right? Like the actual tasks of having to make these posts and the time that it takes away from your life. So I think like there's so much that from my perspective as a psychologist and also personally, and the experiences I've had talking to people and seeing how things have shifted over time, right? In terms of how dependent people have become to, checking these apps and incorporating these apps into their lives, and also building their lives around it, right? And I just really struggle to see what the benefit is of social media, right? And I think when it first started, when it was in the beginning, like you said, like Facebook or even Instagram, right? And we talked about this the other day that I still remember when Instagram first started, and there was these beautiful pictures that people posted of these places, right? Or photos that they had taken, and being able to see those pictures, like it was like, wow, it's so beautiful, right? And people being able to share their photography work or whatever it was, right? And then it just slowly started to morph, right? And now it's just changed so much over time, right? And so I don't know, like from a business perspective and from the pursuit of wanting to be authentic, right? And I just, I really struggle with what's good about social media. Yeah.
The other thing that I feel like I've noticed as social media has evolved over the years, like to your point about how Instagram has changed, is it kind of felt like the whole point of social media. I was going to say Facebook. Yeah, the whole point of social media in the beginning was connection.
Yeah.
Right? Like to foster connection and to build connections in new and different ways. Yeah. And now I feel like that's actually what has been lost over all these years. We are producing, not all the time, right? Like I think that's important to say, that it's not a blanket statement. That there are ways to find connection, obviously, but more often than not, I think we're actually losing that sense of connection. because there's so many pieces that contribute to true connection
Yeah.
that you can't get in that format through that mechanism of being connected through technology.
Yeah.
So I think that's been something that has shifted greatly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that people are like flocking to or
Yeah.
attracted to social media for connection, but it's not coming back at them in a really true and authentic way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's definitely a one-way relationship,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And I think,
yeah.
what I'm thinking of while you're talking is if you're talking to somebody in person and they're on their phone scrolling, right? Like
Yes.
there's that sense of
Oh.
like, are you listening to me,
Mhm.
right? So not even like just what you're looking at
Yes.
on your phone, but even in person, right? Like there's that disconnection from the conversation. There's that disconnection from being present in the moment, right? Because you're scrolling on your phone, right? And so there's so many components to how social media interrupts your day-to-day life, right? So
Mhm.
yes, the content is one piece, but then the actions and how you live your life around it is the other piece, right? And
Mhm.
because and the other piece that I think of is um the uh the push for perfection, right?
Oh,
Around what's
absolutely.
posted,
Mhm.
right? And that's another form of disconnect, right?
Yeah.
Is that it's not a real true representation of how people live their lives, right?
Yeah.
And how do we know that? When people come into the counseling group, they say,
Absolutely.
how come my life isn't like that? Or I
Yeah.
wish my life was like that. And so and everybody is saying the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I just, to your point that, the disconnection is there's so many pieces to that disconnection,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. And that is why it is so problematic.
Yeah.
Is because it seems like the opportunities for disconnect are just like growing and growing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's a piece that while well-intentioned when
Yeah.
it started, has grown and evolved in ways that I think are not helpful.
Yeah.
And I think it's concerning too for the younger generations as well, as they are being born into this world now where social media is so accessible,
Yeah.
and it is included everywhere that they go.
Yeah.
And we went to go see the new Toy Story
Oh, did
movie.
you?
Yeah.
And that was a really interesting take
Yeah.
on technology. I guess
There's an iPad
yes,
sensor, I
yeah,
believe, in the dog.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call it a lily pad.
Yes.
Yes, and so it's a device, and so they've worked that into the plot there for the
Yeah.
movie too of how it can show up and the impacts that it can have for kids.
Mhm.
Some really good points I think are made in that movie, and
Yeah.
highly encourage people to see it.
Yes.
And it's a good thing to have a conversation about too, I think, with kids.
Yeah.
So as parents, like it's a great thing that you can go watch yourself and then have conversations with your kids about too. But I think they do a good job of presenting a balanced view of everything also. But it's interesting that it's starting to show up in that way now, this
Yeah.
conversation about technology, about social media, and how it's being shown is maybe not always a positive thing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like in the counseling room, people come in and they talk about it in a way it is problematic in their lives,
Mhm.
but they can't stop.
Mhm.
And
It's addictive.
they don't know
Mhm.
how,
Mhm.
right? And, like they talk about all the ways that it interferes with their lives and how they've noticed it's such a problem, but yet it's continued, right? And so like that piece alone, right? That if people know,
Mhm.
consciously that it's causing them problems,
Yeah.
but they continue,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
so there's that piece as well, is that like you said, it's coming up now in even the stuff that we're watching in movies, that
Mhm.
there is this awareness around it being a problem in terms of how it interrupts your life, interrupts your ability to grow and to change and all
Yeah.
those kinds of things. And people also consciously know it, but yet we're all still continuing to contribute to it.
Mhm. Mhm. And I find myself thinking too about, um, especially now with the introduction of AI and AI generated images and content.
thinking back to like, the old school show of Catfish.
Yeah.
And thinking about like, how that might start to shift things for people as well. Like it's another way for people to present something that isn't them. And for many different reasons why they might do that in pursuit of a relationship or a connection with somebody or pursuit of money, whatever that is. But it just adds a whole other layer now for people to be thinking about when they're consuming social media. Is this even a real person that I'm looking at their pictures or their videos? How do we even know now? Because it's so hard to tell the difference.
Yeah.
Right?
But I also think it's like the type of content people are watching nowadays. It's so like, yes, there's a lot of AI generated videos on like the internet, like Instagram, like I mentioned TikTok. TikTok is notorious for just like binge watching. Like you're just mindlessly scrolling through videos and it becomes like a tunnel. Like you could be on it, I want to say, for at least like half an hour and not realize how long it's been. Like it's one of those just, and the kinds of videos that you're watching, like when you really reflect on it, it's like nothing of sustenance. A lot of them are like you're watching other people live their lives. So like you have like mukbangs or like people just, do you know what what is
What is that? I was scared to ask the question. I don't know what that is.
Yes, a mukbang. And like I'm pretty sure this was like more popular on YouTube first, and then like people do it now on like TikTok. But it's like people are just eating. You get a whole bunch of food, like a ton of food, and you just eat and talk in front of the camera. I think people might do like, oh, this like food reviews while doing it, but I don't think it's like specifically catered and advertised as like a food review, if that makes sense. I think they just get whatever food they want to eat and just sit there, eat and talk. Yeah, you're eating in front of a camera. So you're literally sitting there eating and being filmed while you're eating and talking to like your friend, if there's a friend, or a lot of people just talk to the camera. Like what?
Oh God. Don't ask
I know,
questions.
I know.
Don't ask questions.
I have not seen enough of these to be the most informed about this. What is the point? Like, what is the point?
Entertain.
What is entertaining? Like, what are people entertained by in that? I don't know. I think it could be like people just find it amusing what the person's talking about and kind of just dissociate the fact that they're just eating while talking. But I don't know. I think it's just a form of entertainment that people do like. I like I it's hard to say like why people find it interesting. And yeah, a lot of people like will do like house cleaning videos or like just them like living their lives, like being like, here's a day in my life. I'm dropping the kids off to school. I'm going to work after this. Watch me work my 9 to 5. These are the things I do after my 9 to 5. I go to the gym. I meal prep. Like they just live their lives.
You know what's funny? Is that I'm just thinking to myself,
Like and I think I could say this for you too. Feel free to correct me if I'm not. But we love to people watch.
yes,
Right?
Yeah.
Like that,
Yeah.
that is something that fascinates me. Like I can sit somewhere with a coffee and watch people walking by, like if you're at a patio or something, and it's fascinating to watch people and to just observe what they're doing. So there's a part of me that just connected that of like, I wonder if that's maybe what it is, like that fascination with watching other humans and how they exist and what their lives look like. And it's that sort of, it's almost like how do I say that? Like it's because it's somewhat intimate, right? Like if somebody is choosing to okay, if you can talk. Right? Yeah, right. I don't know how to say that, but yeah, something like that. Something where it's like that, that secretive, like watching somebody else do something. But again, then I go to, but you fall into that trap of like, but that it's still crafted. It's still something that's curated. Is that the right word? Like it's something that's still, Is it the person actually being themselves, or is it a crafted version of this is what my 9 to 5 is like? Most of the time it is crafted. Yeah. Especially like the day of the life types of videos that people post. It's very much
what I want you to see.
Mhm.
So this is my 9 to 5, but the version I want to show you.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, and see, and that's where I feel like I get lost, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
see the attraction.
the best part of people watching is coming up with like, oh, like I wonder,
Yeah.
right? Like I wonder what
Yes.
they're
Like a
saying to
fantasy.
each other, or
Yeah.
right? Like if you're going back to the Toy Story thing, like the imagination around that,
Yes.
right? Like the creativity around, like, oh, I wonder what they're talking about, and like,
Yeah.
oh, I wonder where they're going, or I wonder, why are they here right now, right? And
Yeah.
the ability to create and to be imaginative, whereas
Yeah.
this is like you're actually like getting the answers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it
Takes the mystery
Yes.
away, or it
Yeah.
takes the yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it takes the creativity away
Yeah.
from like actual
Yes.
people watching.
Yeah.
And I think like when you're on apps like that, I personally think like it does make your brain a little lazy. Like
Yeah.
you remove that aspect, you're literally just like, are you really comprehending what you're watching either?
Yeah.
Or are you just zoned in so
Mhm.
much that it's
Mhm.
kind of just in over your head?
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Which can, and that's the danger,
Yeah.
Oh,
right? Like, I
yes.
feel like that's where it tips over into, okay, now that's no longer productive or helpful.
Yeah.
And I think that's where then we start to hear
Yeah.
the counseling room
Yeah.
people saying, well, so and so, I follow them on social media and this is what their life looks like. And why doesn't my life look like that? And I think that's where it becomes a little bit more dangerous, or it's risky.
Yeah.
Risky, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because it
It's
sets
that,
people up for failure.
yeah.
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that comparison
Yeah.
of, oh, somebody's going on vacation,
Mhm.
like everybody they know, or like they're out and about, they're doing stuff, like
Yeah.
it makes you feel some type of way when you're not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
social media now is like so curated to, I'm only posting what I want you to see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like people only like to post their best selves on
Yeah.
social media, not the hard times, not the real
Mhm.
Yeah.
life stuff that they go through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's funny, something else that I was reflecting on, this is a bit of a, I'm going to say maybe an honest view from me. But thinking about like even the idea of taking pictures,
Yeah.
how for me personally that has changed over the years, because it's almost like it's a different experience now to have your picture taken, because now when you get your picture taken, it's to be placed into the world
Yeah.
for everybody to consume, much like what we're doing here today,
Yeah.
right? And so it adds this whole other shift, I think, within yourself as an individual of, oh, my picture's not just on a card that's just gonna, maybe
Yeah.
be tossed somewhere and might come across it again at some point.
Yeah.
It's out there and it lives forever.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's funny that you mentioned pictures too, with like wedding stuff. People hire content creators now. They're specifically to create content for your wedding. So like influencers, and yeah, it's like becoming like a bigger industry. So you have your photographer, your videographer, but now people are also additionally hiring content creators. And I think if that's what you're interested in, you do it. But I also feel like for like the everyday person, like I've known a couple people who've gotten them for like their events. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Because
think
we're both like, what?
no, they do.
What would a
Some of them
content
make
creator do?
TikToks for you, like full on. Like it's like a shorter version of a video, but specifically catered to posting on Instagram or social media.
So they like they're there, but they're there with the purpose of capturing moments
Yeah,
to craft a post.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Whether people choose to post them or not, but the intention started for influencers to post their little snippets behind the scenes of their wedding stuff.
Wow.
So, because it's also oftentimes faster to get content out through a content creator than getting your wedding videos or photos back.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Oh my
think like
goodness.
I was talking to this one girl I know who did it, and she was like, yeah, they're going to like Dropbox me or whatever, the entire set of the videos, like the raw videos before they've been edited before like tomorrow or something. So it's a very fast turnover.
Wow.
So you're able to post about your event the next day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We're so old, Nikki.
Oh, I'm so old.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fascinating, right?
Mind blowing.
How much it's changed over time. Because I was thinking this morning when I was getting ready, knowing we were doing this podcast, I was thinking back to like the times, like even when we were growing up,
Yeah.
where like a camera like wasn't even around, right? Like, because I
Yes.
think like now, like when our kids have birthday parties or whatever, right? Like we're taking pictures like crazy, whatever, and like we don't have any photographs from our birthdays growing up, right? Like there is no,
Yeah.
like there's nothing, right? And even if you did take a picture, like it would be printed and then put into a book
Photo album.
photo album with a plastic cover,
Yeah, right?
sticky
All the
plastic.
sticky
Yeah.
yes, yeah. For picturing
Yeah.
that night and it's things
Smooth
like
it
this.
down, right? And then it would just be in there, right?
Yeah.
And then if you would go back and look at it, it would be like years later and be like, oh yeah, right? But
Yeah.
now it's like, oh my goodness, right?
It's funny that you say that because something that I feel like I find myself reflecting on in moments, especially related to kids,
Yeah.
having kids.
Yeah.
When you go, like when your kids are in an event,
Yeah.
and they're performing or they're doing something, and it's like every parent in the
Yes.
group has their phone up, like
Yes.
Mhm.
and they're recording, like us, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're recording it happening.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that
Mhm.
so much
Oh, yeah.
because I feel conflicted about should I be capturing this moment
Pressure.
Yeah.
like everybody else is, but then I'm not really present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that in the times that I have opted to record,
Yeah.
I'm not present. I'm not paying attention to what my kid is doing.
Yeah.
So I've, kind of made that decision at times where I will opt to not record and to just choose to be present
Yeah.
instead.
You're more
right?
so living in the moment.
Yes.
You get to experience
Yeah.
it, and it's now a memory for you that like you'll cherish.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, I was having a conversation with my fiance about
Mhm.
this. We don't have kids, but we
Yeah.
no, but I was talking. I was like, you see kids nowadays, and they're so addicted to like iPads or
Mhm.
the TV or whatever, even like their parents' phones.
Mhm.
And I was talking to him. I'm like, it's so different from like when we grew up. Like I grew up where like yes, like these like phones were like a thing, like
Mhm.
cell phones, whatever. I think my parents had Blackberries at the time, but still, I was so like fascinated with that. Whatever they let me play games here and there. But now it's like the kids are just like, oh, like I want to see your phone, and it's like right now.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking about it too. I was like, I feel like it's also a little on the parents too, because if the kids are if you as a parent are scrolling on your phone
Mhm.
and your child's around you playing, they're curious. They're going to want to know what you're doing.
Yes.
And if you're on social media just scrolling,
Mhm.
you're teaching them that this is a device and it's entertaining. This is where my attention's going to. And I feel like
It's important,
it's important.
right?
Right.
It's important.
And I feel like that's what draws them in.
Mhm.
Because, like I said, we played outside.
Yeah.
Our parents just sat on the patio, watched
Mhm.
us play,
Yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, like nowadays, like you see your dad, your mom on the
Yes.
phone, just scrolling.
Yeah.
It's modeling,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's that modeling behavior, and I think that's something that has shifted too, like in the parenting world. It's being that's another thing that you have to be mindful of
Yeah.
of what you're modeling as a parent.
Yeah.
That is, and you're modeling that behavior. If this thing that's in front of me is
Mm.
more important, or it's really capturing my attention.
Yeah.
So yes, 100%. It starts. Unfortunately, it starts with parents.
Yes.
But it does, and it's about
Yes.
the mind
Yeah.
Mhm.
of like your surroundings when you're with people, like you said too.
Yeah.
Like there's been times too when you go to the dinner with people and they're just scrolling on their
Yes.
phone. Like
Yes.
you're trying to engage, have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm, I want to say this, and then we can move on to the next
Yeah.
piece. But something that I've been reflecting on as I've had the privilege and honor to be a psychologist, like to be in the room, a counselor with clients. I love that people come into the room and all the devices go away.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's such a unique experience nowadays to be in a room with somebody and to have their full attention.
Yeah.
And I think for them to have our full attention coming back at them, it's an incredibly amazing experience to be able to have that. And it's also fascinating to me that it is just accepted that when you come into this space, your device goes away.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is about, maybe you have thoughts on this, but what is it about when clients come into the room and they just know everything, like they either do the act of turning off their phone or they put it on silent and it's like everything is put away. So what is it about this space that people feel like that's an important part of the experience?
Oh, well, I think like that's a large part of why they come in
Good
is
point.
to get that, 100% listening ear, somebody that is going to give them the attention and the validation and all of that, right? Because you cannot get it outside the room, right? And even the fact that you, like for me, I think in my heart when you were just saying that, I was thinking like, how sad,
I know.
how sad that you realize in our lives that this is a moment, right? That, people have put their devices away and it's something to be cherished because we don't get it anymore. How sad.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, and it makes me sad for my kids.
Yeah.
Right. Like as things continue to progress, right? That there's so many things that, people are missing out on. Right. And, like to choose to come to see a psychologist or a counselor and to know that that's going to be part of the experience, right? That it's very, yeah, it's sad for humanity because human beings, what makes us different from animals is that we need that connection.
Yeah. And true connection.
Yeah. And going back to the beginning of our podcast, right? And the pandemic and how hard that was for us as human beings to be segregated, to be, told that we can't see each other and what an uproar it was and how hard it was for all of us. And now we're living this life where we're choosing to not be present, to not be around, to not be in the moment. Right.
No, that connection piece is so big too. I remember for myself during the pandemic, people made such an effort to call people, to FaceTime people. Like I had family from like all over the world. We jumped on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Like there was like 20, 30 of us.
Yeah.
And we just talked.
Yeah.
We haven't done that since.
Yeah.
Right. It does put things into perspective.
Yeah.
Of how, like you said, we are choosing to distance ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. And I often reflect on maybe the impacts or the outcomes of all of us collectively surviving the pandemic. And I still feel like we're collectively as a human race reeling from everything that we lived through at that time. It was an experience, and the technology part of that again started out as useful, like what you just spoke to, right? And there we go again, where it's this example of how it just skyrockets and it just becomes, and it takes off because it can.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's just because it can, because we can do more. We can keep doing more, and it's always about more.
Yeah.
Right. So it's interesting how we have these fantastic ideas that come from a place of wanting to connect, wanting to create that in a new and different way, and then it falls off because it becomes too much, right?
Yeah.
Which is again maybe a good way for us to kind of segue into talking about, okay, so is there any good about social media? Right?
Yeah.
And I think that is part of it, is that it did open the door to some of these connections or opportunities that we wouldn't have otherwise had. So there is good in it.
Yeah, and like I think like the advocacy piece, right? Like people can advocate for themselves or for causes, right? And I think like that, because it's a good way to like get the word out, right? So I think like in terms of those opportunities, I think it's great for to have social media and to have quick ways to let people know about what you're advocating for, right? Or the change that you want to see. I think is really good, right? And like I think so there are, and like I said before, there's people that have built businesses and have become very, very successful because of social media, right? And so I think for those people, there's a benefit there, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's also like a way for people to be creative. Like,
Yeah,
there are a lot of people like,
Yeah.
I know we talked about the things earlier, but maybe that's a way that the person expresses themselves creatively in a different way. So I think, there is a creative component to it. I just think like mindfulness and just being mindful about the content that you consume and like the content you also put out there. I think those are like two important like things that like viewers or creators of content just need to be mindful.
And that's a really good point, right? Especially for individuals that are choosing to create content or post content. That mindful piece of, if I'm choosing to put this out into the world, why am I choosing that? For what reason? What am I contributing to? What purpose is it serving? And I think that's such an important, and it's such a quick and easy check-in that you can do with yourself. Right? I'm going to put this out there because I think it's hilarious or whatever. It's such a simple tool, but can make all the difference.
Oh, absolutely. I think it also like an important piece too is what is the message I'm saying? Like, what does it tell people? I think also for the younger generation, that is very important because a lot of them are on social media. So saying, like being mindful of how you present information, like what message it's sending is very big, especially for, like I said, the younger kids.
Absolutely. The other piece that I wanted to make sure we chatted about quickly was around AI, but specifically people using, I'm going to say Chat GPT, something like that. I know there's lots of versions of that out there. For therapy. And
what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yes.
Right. It's happening.
Yes, it is.
People are doing it, right? And I don't know.
So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like from your perspective, have you had like any clients talk about that? Talk about how they potentially have used AI in terms of like a quick response or quick help if they're in need?
Yes. Yeah, I have had clients say that. And then it's interesting, right? Because then the client is sitting there with you in the room.
Yes.
Still. Okay, so maybe it doesn't fully work on its own. Yes, it can be helpful as a quick like check-in. But I think it's interesting because I go back to maybe what we learn in school. You learn that part of why therapy works is because of the relationship that's crafted in the room. That's part of what helps people to grow and change. And so I'm not sure how you do that, how you have a relationship with something like a chat GPT. There is no real relationship that's crafted there. So I don't know that the opportunity to heal from that perspective is there. So I don't know. That's kind of my first thoughts about it.
Yeah.
I think people do know, like, to jump in, like, I feel people do emotionally rely on it, though. I feel like people start referring to ChatGPT as like a him or her. They start to I've heard and like seen online too, people give them like a name and like things like that. And like I think it does become like in some people's eyes a person in itself. So I do think that that emotional reliance on it, and it becomes like a friend or a shoulder to cry on. And I feel like that is also the dangerous part of it. And also it knows so much about you.
Yeah. Before you jump in, I was going to say my immediate reaction is I'm terrified.
Yes.
Like that sounds terrifying to me, right?
Yeah.
But it is. It's so scary, and I think that yes, I think it's a reflection of where society is at today. Because, like we talked about, social media, like it's a connection, but it's more importantly a disconnection, right? And I think with the emergence of AI and the role that AI can play in therapy, I think it's going to be a crafted response based on the information that it's given. And what we know about human beings as psychologists is we will always need that human connection, right? So I think it'll be interesting to see as time goes on and people, get exposed to using ChatGPT in that way and get the response. Even the clients that I have, they've, brought me the information that they've gotten and they're like, so now what?
Yeah.
Right. So I think it will always be, so now what?
Yeah.
Right. And so it'll be, I think as time goes on, people will still be left with, and it's the same as when you read like self-help books and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, okay, so I've read this information. Yeah. But now what? Right. So I think there's, so hopefully as humans continue to progress and maybe we have more conscious awareness around, like maybe this isn't so good and, like I don't think that this is right for me. Hopefully people will start to figure out that there needs to be a little bit of a balance. Right? And whatever that balance may be is going to be different for everybody. Right?
Yes, absolutely. And maybe that's a good way for us to wrap up some of what we shared today, which is, I hope the message that's heard from our conversation today is balance in everything.
Yes.
Whatever you're choosing to do, whatever you're choosing to consume, balance is the key. You can choose to have social media as a part of your life. And like we talked about, being mindful while you're using it. As with all other, I'm going to say, things that can become addictive. Caffeine, like substances, drugs, whatever. It all has the potential to become addictive, right? And it's just being mindful of how you're choosing to consume it.
Absolutely.
And that's, I hope, the message that's heard in this.
It's not a bad thing in itself. It's just
It's right. It's how you use it.
Okay.
Any last closing thoughts?
social media is not bad.
Exactly.
Use it wisely.
Yes, exactly. Maybe that is one other piece that you can share. Actually, that just reminded me that we will have a resource available for people online to some tips and tricks for how to go about using social media in a balanced way, hopefully.
Yes.
So that's a piece that people can look out for.
Yes.
All right. Okay. That's it for today's episode, I guess. So to many more.
Yes. To many, many more.
And thank you everybody for tuning in and joining us for conversations.
Yes.